Hi, are you excited to see for yourself how the chunking, embedding and coding happening behind the scenes of a retrieval-augmented generation or RAG solution? If so, in this video of implementing RAG using knowledge bases in Amazon Bedrock, we will be uploading an ebook as a knowledge source to S3, utilize the Amazon Open Search service as the vector database, and get responses to our questions from the contents of the ebook we uploaded. We will actually see how our ebook is chunked and how each chunk is embedded into vectors with values between 0 and 1. Let's dive in. So first of all, what we need to do, we need to download some files, maybe some documents that we want to upload to our RAG vector database. So here I am in this Kaggle dataset. I will share this link with you. If you want to, you can try your own PDF. So this book, there's a book here on modern operating systems. I'm going to download this data set. There are several other files here. I'm going to download this entire data set and upload only this modern operating systems file to an S3 bucket and then provide that as an S3, as a Amazon Bedrock knowledge base. And then we will ask questions from this book using an LLM model. Let's see how to do that. So first of all, I'm going to download this one. Right, download is now complete. Now I'm going to the where I got this download, and I'm going to extract this one. So modern operating system, this is the file I want to download. Once you log in here, this is how you can see, and also make sure to do this exercise, you need to be in the be an IAM user. If you are on a root user, you will have issues running this, but make sure you create an IAM user and you log in using those IAM credentials, username, password and the MFA. So first of all, what we need to do, we need to create an S3 bucket and upload our PDF or the data files or the custom data sources that we want to use in our RAG model. So in my S3 buckets, I have created this RAG dataset bucket, and I'm going to upload some file here that I just downloaded. So the modern operating system. So I'm going to upload that file and click on upload. So it's all good now. So we can see that file. Now we can go to Bedrock and go to knowledge bases. Here I'm going to create a new knowledge base. So I'm going to call this operating system knowledge base. And here I will need a particular IAM role, because this Bedrock knowledge base will need to go to the S3 and read the contents of the file, and also to save this file as embeddings or in the embeddings and then save in the vector data store like the open search that we'll be using. So all these permissions will be set up by when we create the service role. So this is the data source I'm going to use. You can see there are multiple data sources we can use: Salesforce, Confluence, SharePoint. I'm going to click next. Here I have to provide a data source. So I'm going to name this as OS knowledge base data source, and I had to browse the bucket here. And we can use the default parser and default chunking. If you don't want any specific behavior, we are good with that for now. And you can see here we can add multiple data sources. If you want to have multiple S3 buckets, you can do that here. But I'm not going to use multiple data sources, so I'm going to delete this one. And then I have to select a model here. So what is the embedding model we are going to use that will get this PDF and chunk and embed? What is the sometimes certain embedding models use 1536 vectors. Some embedding models they use 1024 vectors. Likewise, different embedding models use different number of vectors, and there are internal differences in the mechanisms that they use. So we can select an embedding model we want to use. So I usually prefer to use this Titan text embeddings on demand. So embedding model is there. I would prefer to use a new vector store, and I want to use the open search because that way we can actually see how the embeddings are happening, everything I can show you. So I will leave it like this. Yeah, so I'm going to leave all these things here, but I'm showing you here we have multiple options, how many embeddings we want to have, how many vectors we want to have in our embedding model. So I'm going to leave all of these as default, and I'm going to use the OpenSearch serverless as the vector store. So everything looks good as of now, and I'm going to create the knowledge base. It will take a couple of minutes for this knowledge base to be ready. So I will come back when it's in the ready state. I had to wait around 5 minutes for this knowledge base to be ready. Now it is ready, and the first thing you want to do is you have to click on this OS knowledge base data source and click on sync. And one thing I want to show you here, I was getting an error before when I clicked on this sync, because I had to enable certain models in my AWS account for this to happen. Because if you remember, when we created this data source and the knowledge base, we asked the knowledge base to use a particular embedding model, Amazon Titan embedding model. So this one, Titan text embeddings v2. If you go to my model access, I currently have this model enabled in my AWS account. If you don't have that, you will have to go and request access. Yeah, here we can see. So here I have requested Titan text embedding v2 access granted. If you don't have this access, like if it is available to request, when you click on this sync button, you are going to get an error. I didn't get that error because I already have access to this embedding model. So please make sure that you have this access for this embedding model, whatever you are using. And then another thing I want to show you, now when we want to ask questions from this knowledge base or this vector database, we need to use some sort of a LLM model. So for that I am using this Cloud 3.7 Sonnet model. For that also I should have access granted, otherwise I am going to get an error in that step too. So there are two models which you would need to request access, this Cloud 3.7 and the Titan text embedding v2. They are not expensive, they don't charge you, just to give you the access, and you will be charged on the usage, number of tokens you use, kind of like that. So syncing is still happening. Once the sync is complete, we can go and see how the actual embeddings have happened in the vector database. Let's give it a couple of minutes more for the syncing to complete. Now we can see the syncing is complete. So what we can do, we can now go to the Open Search console and see how this vector store is created. So what we will do, we will go to the Open Search console, and here if we go to serverless and collections, you should be able to see this knowledge base. And if you go to the dashboard, you can go to the dashboard directly from here. It will spin up the Open Search dashboard for us, and here you should be able to see the indices that were created and how the embeddings have actually happened. It's taking some time, so I'm going to come back when this is loaded. Yeah, it's coming up, it's coming up. Okay. So what we need to do, we have to go to discover here and index patterns. So index pattern is a way where we specify an index and then trying to use that index for the coring purposes. So there is a one default index here. I'm going to use that same because that has to match this pattern here. It's good. Create index pattern. Now the index is being created, and now here we can see all the fields that it has created for my vector database. Yeah, I have to go back to the discover, and then here I can see, so you can see these are all text chunks from that file that I uploaded, the file about the operating systems. All this is are chunks from that particular textbook. And here if I go to the if I go to each of these chunks, I can see how these have been embedded based on their meaning and stuff. So there are around 1024 values in this vector, in this particular vector for this particular chunk. So likewise for each of these chunks we have embeddings like this, and so this is what is happening underneath. If you want to know what is how the embeddings are happening behind the scenes of a vector store. So now we know what is happening. We can go to the knowledge base again and then ask questions on this knowledge base. For instance, let's go to test knowledge base. So I have several options here. I'm going to do retrieval and response generation. I can specify whether I want different chunks, all these things, but I'm going to leave everything as default. And for the LLM model, this is the other model that we have to use. So you see here, if you don't have models enabled, you cannot access them, but I have enabled Anthropic Claude Sonnet 3.7. So I'm going to use that here. If not, you will have to go to the model access and enable this one. So now I'm going to ask few questions. So one thing I want to show you here, in this RAG dataset itself, there is a initial paragraph about operating systems. So you can see what is an operating system. So let's see, if we ask this question, whether it gives its own answer from the LLM model or whether it's deriving an answer from this PDF. So I'm going to ask this question here, what is an operating system, from my chat. So it says it provides application programs with a clean abstract set of instead of dealing directly with messy hardware. So I think it's forming that answer along the text. Instead of the messy hardware. So it's a clean abstract set of resources. So all of that is taken from this text PDF that we just uploaded. So then it goes on to all these additional details in the answer. So now you see how we are actually using a RAG to customize our answers that we get from a LLM chat model. So our answers, our responses are more specific to our data sources, to our custom data sources that we use in our daily work. I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, please type in the chat, and I will share all the important URLs that I have used, especially the URL for the Kaggle dataset, if you want to explore and use the same dataset. And always please remember, after you create this, you should go and delete the OpenSearch vector store and the knowledge base. So I want you to start with the knowledge base. So we go to knowledge base and we have to first delete the knowledge base, and then we have to go to the Open Search console and delete the vector store, and finally we have to even remove the S3 bucket as well, because that would also incur a small amount of small cost for us. So I'm going to click on this one and delete. Maybe I should remove this one. Now it's being deleted. And one thing I want to show you, you have to delete the resources in this order, because when I was trying this before, I deleted the Open Search database before the knowledge base. So then I had a lot of trouble deleting the knowledge base later. So I want you to follow this order. First delete the knowledge base, then delete the Open Search vector store, serverless vector store. Then it doesn't give you much errors, and then finally I want to go to the S3 bucket and delete the bucket itself. So I have to empty the bucket first and then permanently delete it. Right. I think it should. Right. Now it's deleted. I don't see the bucket anymore. So now I'm sure that I'm not incurring any cost, because this Open Search vector stores, they are pretty expensive, around 24 cents per hour, and that's going to be around, if you keep that running for a month, that's going to cost you $172 per month, which is quite expensive. So I want you to delete all this knowledge base, Open Search, vector store, and the S3 bucket as soon as you are done with this demo. I hope this was valuable to you, and see you in another demo. Thank you.